So let's take a look at Shalane's journey on episode 37.
You said that you want somebody that values a relationship with God and that like goes to church. I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I grew up religious, but I don't practice a religion right now. I will say that one of my downfalls is that I don't really cook.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I kind of like low maintenance meals. So
Okay.
like the eggs, the salmon, the salad, the fruits,
Just on rotation.
things that are not like super hard to cook. I'm not the best cook. I hate cooking. It hates me.
You
Whatever.
hate it.
It hates me back, so we're even. He's scratching his head.
So, Shalane, as we saw on your
I think the ladies don't understand how important cooking is for a man, because those are one of the few things a woman can do for a man to show appreciation. And obviously, it goes without saying, unless both of you are going to be buying food out, bringing in takeaway every day to spend all that money buying food from restaurants, cooking is the way to go. So especially if a man is going to be a provider, the least a woman can do is be able to prepare a simple meal for her man. Now, if you guys are going 50-50, then by all means, both of you are going to have to figure that shit out.
your episode, anytime, God or relationship with God, anything like that was brought up, like you would pop immediately. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I think first off, my biggest issue is that I never said I don't believe in God. I think the minute I said I'm not religious, people equated that with like, oh, she doesn't believe in God and she's like a devil worshiper, which is not the case. Like I said, I grew up religious. I question a lot of things pertaining to Christianity and the Black community, like the genesis of how it was introduced to us. We learned about Christianity from like our enslavers or colonizers. So initially, I already have a problem with that. But it's not that I don't believe in God. I'm agnostic. I don't have proof that God exists. I don't have proof that he doesn't. I just exist. And I'm just like, whatever. I'm not against people believing in God or having whatever religion they want. But when you say you're a Christian, from the doctrine that I know, I'm thinking, okay, you don't want to be unequally yoked with anybody, so that's why I eliminate myself. I would date a Christian as long as you're not imposing your beliefs on me. I believe everybody's journey is different and everybody should have that free will to seek out whatever spiritual path that they want,
Honestly, if you guys watch the episode, she was rejecting guys as soon as they said they believe in God. But if I'm going to play devil's advocate, I'm going to be honest, guys. We all know a man will choose a woman who doesn't believe in God, but if she's kind, feminine, easy to get along with, no arguments, and can cook, over a woman who goes to church every Sunday, but she calls him names and she doesn't respect him. She's always emasculating him. Because there are so many women who go to church every Sunday who are married, but they're in sexless marriages. The husband is always being treated as shit. So if we're gonna be honest, so believing in God and going to church is not the end all be all. So for me, I feel like she was popping too fast. So I believe she could have had a chance with some guys who still believe in God, but as long as she has good character, some guys can take her.
But for me, organized religion is just not it. That's just not for me.
I like that she said that though, because I feel like a lot of people get on the show and they're like, oh yeah, I believe in God, and oh yeah, and then they find out like afterwards that they're not really going to church, they're not really, like into God as that they said. So I like how that she was real about like, hey, this is how like I am as a person, and if you're really super religious and I'm not, we probably won't work out.
We won't
so
align.
I just like that she was like honest, because I feel like there's some people that come out there that's like, oh, I'm super religious, and then they're like, are you? And that might be my deal breaker, and they're like, oh, I just don't want to say like I'm not, and then not match. So I just really commend her for being honest and being true to herself.
Being religious and saying you're a Christian is the norm within the Black community, so it would be easy for me to come out and pretend to be something I'm not, but I'm not in the business of like deceiving people. I'm honest. I'm very much like what you see is what you get.
It was at least 3 guys though that from our episode that you popped on, or I think they popped on you, where it was all about religion. So I just kind of want to know, how does that affect your dating life? When you say up front, I don't do this, I don't worship, I don't go to church, and how do guys in real life respond to that?
So the way I've approached dating is that I date Outside of my race a lot. I date outside of my race a lot.
Problem number one.
What do you mean problem number one?
Uh-oh.
No, because I feel like black.
Say it.
I feel okay.
Safe space.
Is it though, girl?
No, we listen.
Black people are very boxed in. Like the norm within black societies, anybody within the black diaspora, Caribbean, African American, like you're Christian, that's how you were raised, and it's this big deal. Like I date outside of my race a lot where religion doesn't even come up. It's not even a thing. It's not even brought up, you know?
How's that working out for you, though?
How is it working?
Dr. Daz?
Sir, we are on the same show.
Shots fired.
You're over here with the ABCs, and you're still.
There's a difference between me and you.
True.
The difference is clear.
Oh, God.
I don't know if he's gonna say it because I didn't watch all the way here, but the difference is the man has to approach the woman, right? The woman has to be approached by the man. So either she's not getting approached or not getting approached by the man she wants, or maybe the man she wants are not approaching her. For Des, all he has to do is to keep approaching. So maybe he's just not approaching. Who knows?
When it comes to options, I have a plethora.
You don't think I have a plethora of options?
There is a plethora.
Bloody hell, this man, yo. Look at me. You think I don't have
Oh my
options?
God.
I'm talking for myself.
We don't have to go into the name calling. So half true character is coming out right now. So just so you know.
There's a plethora. This is the thing when it comes to religiosity, okay? I talked about the death factor with ABCs. You have a death factor, but you don't accept it. Your death factor, one of your criteria is a religiosity, okay?
It is not, though. No, it's not. I will date someone who's Christian. What I'm saying is, if you are a Christian, you're following the principles of the Bible, you're abiding by the doctrine that you study, then you don't want to be unequally yoked, right? And as someone who's not a Christian, you shouldn't be with me then if you're a sturdy Christian, strong in your faith, walking the straight and narrow path. So I take myself from it because I'm like, oh, you're Christian. You don't want nothing to do with me based on your own doctrine. I will date a Christian, though. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you can date a Christian as long as they don't try to.
Don't impose your beliefs on me. Everybody's path is their own.
But here's the
I
thing,
don't
though.
see life through the lens of Christianity. I see it through the lens of humanity.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Here's the thing.
That's a bar.
Why would you pop? If you say you would date a Christian, when somebody mentioned the fact that they are God-fearing or they are Christian, why would you pop on that
Because
mention?
I was
Yeah, that's what I was saying. She popped too early because like I said, I honestly believe when it comes to being too strict on standards, women are too strict on their standards compared to men. Men will lower their standards a little bit if a woman is more kind, nice to talk to, easygoing. That means she makes up in other things. But for women, a woman will literally say, I want a man who's a provider. But she will find a man who's a provider, but if he's short, she won't do it. But on the opposite of a man will find a woman who's not in excellent shape, but if she talks nicely, kind, feminine, like good energy, he will go with it. He will take the deal. So that's the difference.
making an assumption based on the doctrine of Christianity. You guys cannot be unequally
So you
yoked.
were-
But, and also, you usually pop when they say they want a woman of
of
God.
God, exactly. And,
that's
that's not
what
me.
you pop, not because
Exactly.
they said they're Christian.
They want a woman of God.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. And then also, you also mentioned cooking.
Oh God. I feel like that is so. I said I cook stuff. I said I make salads, fruit, and all that. No. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm glad I can cook. And I was telling the girls earlier, my back would probably be really big. I don't want to be big backed. I'm glad I eat a lot of salads. The body.
Okay.
Plenty of men can cook. Plenty of men can cook. I'll be all right.
I had to give her that though, that she was honest with it, because I think remind me your name.
Shelly?
Shelly, yeah. She said some people come on here and act like, oh, I'm Christian. No, she was brutally honest, and I love her for that. I remember watching that episode. I was like, Oh, I like her. Yeah, like she's not ashamed of who she is.
Right.
I don't cook. You still want to be with me or you want to pop your balloon? I don't really care. So I like that. So yeah.
I don't clean.
So for the guys, is a woman who doesn't cook or cooks in debt, like, is that a deal breaker for you?
I think for most guys, it would be a deal breaker, especially for long term living under the same household. And let's say they're paying majority of the bills. For most guys, it's gonna be a deal breaker. Unless she makes it up in, I don't even know how a woman would make up for not being a good cook. She doesn't even have to be good, but she has to be willing to learn. It's not different from a woman starting from 50-50, but she's hoping the guy will eventually pay majority of the bills so she doesn't have to work so much to pay for the other half of the bills. That's my opinion.
Over with.
Super duper.
Oh,
Over with.
Super duper.
For me.
Are you serious?
Emphatically.
God know how to cook.
I'm real shit, though. I was fake joking, but I'm some.
And
If you're not cooking for like,
What
What
if
are we
she's
doing?
a good cleaner? What if you
I
have
can
the
clean.
food and she takes the cars to the car wash? Like,
look, I can't cook, but I'm not gonna cook. That's your job. That ain't your job. That's your job.
are you?
That's his job.
Go ahead, you got it.
You just said it like an entire century.
Really,
I can't
No.
even explain it to you right now. Like,
you had me and you lost me. Like
but ladies, if we're listening, all the men, well, I didn't hear from James, but all the men said cooking is
Yeah, that's
a deal
important.
breaker.
Yeah.
and see, this is black.
Wait a minute. So I feel like,
Hold on, let's hear from Shelly. Let's hear
I
from
feel
Shelly.
like, okay, if you want a woman that cooks and cleans and does the traditional thing, you should be doing the traditional man thing and providing.
You better be.
That's understandable. And that's why before they even said that, I said if a man expects his woman to cook, he's going to have to pay majority of the bills. Because you're not going to expect her to come from work, working so hard, and then she has to come home and cook because she's probably tired. But if you're paying majority of the bills, she's going to have to cook. Or you guys going to have to figure out who's going to cook. You know, do some guys love to cook and they don't care? Yeah, for sure. But that's a very small, that's a minority of men. But also the ladies, they are saying a man wanting a woman to cook is setting us 100 years back, but you still want a provider. Now, you as a woman, if you don't want a provider, you want 50-50 on everything, on cooking, on cleaning, on bills and everything, on protection, 50-50, then by all means. But if you don't want to cook, but you still expect the man to pay majority of the bills, I don't know, you're looking for a dummy at that point.
Everything on your end.
Hold on.
But what I feel like is a lot of men nowadays, they expect women to do all these traditional things, but they're not doing all the traditional things as a man.
That's not true. It's actually the opposite. Women want a man who's a provider, but they also want him to help with the cooking, with the cleaning, and they also want her. They want the man to let her work and save 100% of all her money, but spend his money. So who's really keeping the traditional roles and who's not?
Not know how to
And
cook
you
is
want-
crazy.
No.
What's the traditional
But-
things as men? What is that?
Like providing,
building a
right?
shed.
Like not only providing, right, taking care of the home, fixing things of that sort, like manly things, right? Like manly duties.
So you want a man who, so you're saying if a woman has to cook, clean, all that stuff, a man should know how to do like build stuff?
Build stuff.
That's
fix
fair.
the car, right?
That's fair.
If you don't fix the car, pay for the car to get fixed.
That's
You
fair.
know what I'm saying? Like do all the things that I feel like should be taken care of by a man.
Okay.
But nowadays, men want all the things that I feel like like the traditional woman should do, cook, clean,
Let's not say
all
men. That's
this.
just the dudes you choose to talk to.
Facts. I think, like I said, I think it's the other way around. Women want a traditional man, but they still want to be modern women. In other words, come in, pay all my bills, but hey, I'm gonna work, save all my money, and don't expect me to come home and cook and clean because I was working, but still I expect you to pay all the bills. You feel me?
Wait a minute. And y'all don't be doing the same thing. So that's just all I'm
Okay,
saying.
I
Alicia.
have a question. Isn't cooking a life skill?
I was
I'm
gonna
not down
say-
for not being able to cook, but I was always taught like men and women, everybody should be able to cook.
Yeah.
Frying them eggs, baby, making that salad. Like I feel like everybody should be able to cook,
Right.
sustain themselves.
Everybody need to be able to cook.
So